Hi guys, I'm in the Volvo XC60 T8. So Malaysia only received just one spec. Okay, we only received one spec, and this is the top spec, top of the top, creme de la creme. So basically, I sometimes I like reviewing cars like this because once in a while you get one car that is a no contest. You see, we always get asked by our readers, hey Bobby, do you think the CR-V is better, or the Tiguan, you know, or the CX-5? And then we have to decipher it for them. Okay, if you really need space, it's the CR-V. Okay, and the Mazda is the prettiest car of the lot, and it has the most premium looking interior, yada yada yada. It handles really well. But the Tiguan, even though the exterior design isn't that good looking, okay, but it is a tidy car, and yada yada. We're gonna explain it, right? The handling of the Tiguan slightly better than the CX-5, yada yada yada. We have to try and explain the different parameters of what makes them good, and certain things, they outweigh each other. Same goes the C-Class. It has a prettier interior than the 3 Series, but it doesn't drive as well as the 3 Series. And then the Audi A4 is way better built than the two of them. But then there is the question of the Passat B8, which is essentially an Audi, but then larger, more specs, everything. See, that's the confusing part, the convoluting options that are made available, and we have to decipher it for them. But once in a while we meet cars like this. What this reminds me of is back in year 2010, when BMW launched the 5 Series, you know, because cars like these are cars that are of no contest, zero contest. The car came out, everybody siam GP, everybody step aside. There is zero contest, because when you weigh everything in, there's just no challenge, and there's not even a consideration that you even need to ponder about, because the challenges are just too far away. So this is another car that is like that, the XC60, because currently the new X3 is not here yet. We have the current X3, and then we have the GLC. Okay, and some people might prefer the GLC's design. It is pretty, okay, but this car is prettier, it is handsomer, it is better built, it has a more solid interior, right? It is a prettier interior, it's more high-tech, and it has the full-fledged safety system. Currently, even though this car wasn't positioned as high as the XC90 or the S90, but this car outspecs them in everything, okay? It has the same horsepower as the XC90, 407 horsepower, 640 Newton meters of torque, which is the kind of output that is untouchable by its rivals, okay? And then, oh, it even has more power than the Macan Turbo. So the Macan Turbo is, what's the price? 700 over 1,000 ringgit, 400 horsepower. This one 407. And if I'm not wrong, this guy has more torque than the Macan Turbo. It is the kind of 0 to 100 time that not long ago an Aston Martin V12 pulls off this kind of figure. Okay, we all know about Volvo's powertrain now. It's hybrid. The front engine produces 320 horsepower with the 8-speed Aisin transmission. Aisin is from Toyota, so this guy has what we call bulletproof transmission from Toyota. Okay, and then we have the battery pack in the middle, because this is the most logical place to put a battery pack. And then when I get accelerate, oh my god, I'm in comfort mode. I am in comfort mode. I'm not even in sports mode or whatever, and my battery is left at very little bit. Okay, it's just there. So if you have a BMW in comfort mode or a Mercedes-Benz in comfort mode, all of a sudden you drop your foot down, you have to wait 1.5 seconds. BMW maybe 1 second, Mercedes is about 1.5 seconds before the car actually does anything. Okay, this guy is already boom, off it goes. So performance wise, there is no comparison. There's not even a parallel to be drawn, because it's just so powerful. Okay, and the comfort, this car has, I mean, okay, I wouldn't say it is as cushiony as this guy in front, the Harrier, okay, but let's put it this way: if you're willing to pay close to about 40 or 45,000 ringgit to upgrade from a 2-liter D segment to a 2.4 or 2.5 D segment, for the power gain you get another what, 30-40 horsepower, right? Then by right, this guy should probably be double the price of the car in front, or maybe triple, I don't know. That's a recon car anyway. So this guy is the fastest in class. It is the most well spec in class by far. Both things also by far. It's not like you have 245 horsepower, I have 252 horsepower, you know, I am a little bit faster. No. This guy is way faster than cars of the same class, and it is way better spec than cars of the same class. Moreover, cars that are same price, if not slightly more than this guy. Okay, this guy is fantastically spec, and Volvo's new interior, I think you guys are familiar with it now. Very modern, very beautiful, sensuous design, and they use very quality materials. It's a no-brainer. So sometimes I like reviewing cars like this, because I don't even need to decipher anything. It's just outright, it's an outright win. There's nothing that its competition currently can bring onto the table to challenge this guy. None. I cannot find anything. And yeah, review's done. Okay, let's go through the specification. Okay, that are not normal in this class. Okay, heads up display, ta-da, one win. Okay, full panoramic roof, ta-da. Okay, Bowers and Wilkins sound system, and it's a full-fledged one. It's not those, you know, with a plug here, because the subwoofer of this Bowers and Wilkins system is built into the chassis itself. It's built into the body of the car itself. My wife calls. It has better seats, Volvo seats, right? I don't know what else. This is an outright. It has a crystal gear knob. See that? This is one solid piece of crystal where lights shine from beneath. This crystal, the brand is called Oroforce. So we all know Swarovski. Swarovski is very commercialized. This is another brand called Oroforce, and they're from Sweden. And yeah, it's here. It's the gear knob. The gear knob is a piece of crystal. Okay. There are knurled patterns here, so all this feels very, very luxurious, very high class cabin. And this is the best touchscreen system out there. I've used the one in the Tesla, and I can tell you this, even though some Americans say that the Tesla one is very user friendly, it's not. The Tesla's touchscreen feels like what? It feels like a Microsoft Windows laptop with touchscreen. So the way they group the functions, the way they lay them out, right, it's actually not very intuitive. It's very hard to find what you need to find. But the Volvo ones, this is your home screen. It gives you a shortcut of the most important thing: navigation, your music, your phone, and this one is the last thing that you were doing just now. You were adjusting. What is the last thing that you were adjusting? You come here, these are the apps that you can install, these are the functions that you have. So your Bluetooth function, your sound system, your radio FM function. Okay, these are the functions tab. And then you go to this side. These are the buttons that you used to have on your car. You know, your wiper, you press your sensors, you press your you enable your active bending lights, you want to off your ESC. These replicate the buttons that were around. So this is how they segregate it, and you can actually move them. You can move them to the position that you like, customize it however you like. So this is Volvo's Sensus touchscreen system. It's the best touchscreen system out there, bar none. Okay, so what else does this car have? When it comes to safety system, we all know Volvo's they are top notch, and I have to say this: if you work so hard to reach where you are today, I mean, Volvo understands this. You work so hard to reach where you are today, they want to make sure you reach home every day. So that's their single most prominent, most important proposition that they why they embark on all this very, very costly exercise to bring you all this. Okay, and it's not just a little bit more than the competition. You know, like, oh, you have blind spot warning, and then you have lane assist, I will add one more better than you. No, Volvo gives you the full range of what is currently technologically and politically allowed currently in Europe. So they put it in. So this car, if I did not brake in time, I was looking at that, or I'm talking to you guys, I almost hit the car in front, it will auto brake. It will prevent me from hitting the car in front. If I'm driving on a back road, another guy suddenly veer into my lane, coming to a head-on collision at the very last minute, which I will not have this time to react. The car will jeer the steering to avoid that car based on the car's understanding of the road's width, what is the available parameters, how much space is left. The car will judge all that, and once the car determines that there is still room to avoid that collision, the car will do it and pull back the car immediately. Amazing stuff that this car has, right? And then when you go on a highway drive, or like now, traffic jam on Federal Highway, you know, 1 hour is very tiring, it's very draining, right? You can on the city safety, and then the car will crawl for you in the traffic jam. You won't hit the car in front, you won't come up from your lane. All these things are inbuilt. Now, why other car makers don't put this in? It could be cost, I understand, but seriously, the reason it is a cost is because the car maker did not make it as standard, which Volvo did, right? So yeah, I think I answered everything. Volvo made it standard, so it's safer for you. And then heads-up display when you're driving on a highway, high speed, you know, heads-up display is fantastic. You have your navigation, it will show the markings there, and then you can download Spotify app here. Seamless integration with your Android and Apple, all these in this car. It is a bargain. Think about it this way: the GLC 43, which makes 367 horsepower, is what, 500 over 1,000 ringgit? It's about 200,000 more expensive than this car, and this car even has a better performance. So this is a bargain. If you think about, BMW has their M division, Audi has their S or RS, Mercedes has their AMG, right? This is Volvo's T8, which is the top of the spec, best performing combination that they have. Now, the four-wheel drive system, okay, you guys have all the concerns. Oh, how does it work? You know, the battery powers the rear motor, the engine and the transmission powers the front wheel. They both torque and they both work together. So what this means is that in the case of some problems with the rear motor or whatever, right, it won't affect your front wheels, right? So that's how it is. And then you are thinking, what if the battery runs out? Is it a front wheel drive? When the battery runs out, the engine not only will power the front wheels, but will also provide a charge to the battery at the here, in order to have power, always have power, just so when, say for example, your battery is depleted now, but then they will still have a little bit of charge in there, and of course they will continue charging when you brake and all that. Volvos now can be used like a normal hybrid. You can just use it like a normal hybrid like BMWs, because you drive daily and all that, it is able to recharge up to 80% of its maximum capacity. And not only that, when you're on a highway, your batteries are depleted, but there's still that little bit charge at the back there, right? The moment your car passes by a puddle, right, where maybe the front loses traction, the electric motor at the back will immediately take that little power that is left to power the rear wheels, to cater to it, and then wait for the engine to recharge a bit of charge back into the car. So the car doesn't become a front wheel drive after the battery is depleted. It is still a four-wheel drive, but it became an on-demand four-wheel drive. But actually now it's also on-demand four-wheel drive, sort of. But now the configuration, the rear battery and the motor is actually helping the car to provide performance. Okay, so I think I made it clear. When your battery runs out, the case is no longer to provide performance anymore. The case is to provide traction. That would be its role when your batteries are low. Okay, so this car technically will not run out of battery, because the engine will be used to provide some charge to the battery in order to power the rear wheels. Alright, so how is the drive? It is fantastic. Visibility is fantastic. The sharp steering wheel, the Volvo Spa platform has a very, very sharp steering wheel. And this guy, because it's a taller car, they optimize the suspension rate and all that. So I've been driving the V90 T6R for a long time. That car actually has a slightly stiffer suspension, but is in no way jittering or super uncomfortable. And this guy is just smooth. It's smooth, it's comfortable, and it's, I don't know how to put it. Yeah, there's no challenge. There is no challenge from the segment now for what this car can do, for what its power can pull, and what are the things that they packed into this car. I think Volvo Malaysia is very, very sincere in wanting everybody to know that they now have a superior product, and they're willing to not earn that much. They're willing to reduce their profit margin to such a low level to spec in the car at best they could, to let everybody experience how good their product is now, in terms of build quality, in terms of performance, in terms of everything. And this new engine that they developed, that debuted in late 2014, we haven't heard issues with this engine yet. Why? This block is an aluminium block, but it is exceptionally strong. Why? Because Volvo doesn't have the money its German rivals had. So when they developed this engine, when they designed this engine block, they designed it to be also used by their diesel variants, their D4, D5, right? Why? Because diesel is high compression and requires a very, very strong block. Most car makers will use die cast, you know, or steel block, or to build the diesel engine. But then their aluminium engine was designed to be so strong that it can take diesel. Hence, when it comes to petrol, it's alright. Okay? Sorry, I need to take a picture. Yep. This car is just nice, and it's very quiet. Very, very quiet in here. And yeah, man, what else to say? I don't know, man. What else to say? Very good. And I love this part. This was designed to be super duper flexible. I can put my phone here, so when you have waste, you can put it here. You can keep it in charge. And you can put your bottles. You can put your car key here. There's a slot for it. Very, very versatile. I love this. Now this is the XC60, so obviously there is a difference between a 60 and a 90, right? There is also a difference between the 3 Series and the 5 Series in terms of what they used to build. So when it comes to other interior stuffs, like the S90 or the XC90 will have leather all the way down into the door pockets. Of course, those are cars that are slightly costlier. So the XC60, the leather is only until here, okay? And it doesn't extend all the way down. And the leather of this car is not the super soft Napa leather. It is the leather that we all see in BMW 3 Series or 5 Series and all that. The Dakota leather. They call it Dakota. I don't know Volvo called it what, but it's that grade of leather, which is not as smooth and soft as Napa, but it feels more like leather. It feels actually like the leather that we know it, and it is the more durable type actually. But it's not as soft lah, huh? But this is the very familiar type. But it's not the cheap leather, you know, or the Artico, that the man-made leather that Mercedes-Benz uses. Okay, this is still a very high grade, good leather that they use in this car. Handling is great. The car is very stable. It tracks very well. When you move your steering, it reacts well. The response is fast. I don't know what to what is not good. There's one thing that is not good. You know, all their communications, all their communication, videos, pictures and all that, those are the XC60R design. But unfortunately, when a manufacturer manufactures cars, right, they have a production plan. So maybe the inscription or the kinetic or the momentum, they are planned from the first week to X number of week after they start production. And maybe R design, and then R design, the more, you know, the sportier, racier versions is planned for a later date. So the R design probably is planned on the 30th week or the 35th or 40th week. Okay, once they plan that, imagine you wait for the R design to put in your order, to put in your homologation with Malaysian authorities and all that. And then after the car arrives, and then you can do the necessary stuffs, and then the car arrives 1.5 years later or 1 year later. So Volvo Malaysia tries to bring it in as soon as possible and to set up the CKD line, right, to assemble them. Volvo has been in. Volvo is actually the first car maker of Malaysia. They are in Malaysia just a very short time after we gained independence. Okay, I think in the 60s, right? Volvo is here longer than anybody else, longer than Tanchong. All right, so they are very well established in Malaysia. In fact, Volvo is, if I'm not wrong, Sweden's first plant in Asia. Yeah, our Malaysia plant is Sweden's first plant in Asia. So yeah, man, it goes over speed bumps well. Not as magic carpet as the recent BMWs. I believe the X3 will be somewhat similar to what we experienced, because all the new BMWs, their suspension is like magic carpet. Hello, parking. Alright, there's about it. Hi guys, Bobby here, and today I have the XC60. So I did a video about the XC60 earlier on during the launch, where in the launch itself I sort of go through the car and I have a short drive. This time around I'm gonna have the car for a much longer period, and here let's look at the design of the car. The XC60 is this is the second generation. This is only the second generation of Volvo's XC60. Even the XC90 is the second generation as well. Now, Volvo embarked on their SUV offense back in year 2002 with the XC90, and a few years later they launched the XC60. Both cars were of critical success. They launched it the first time and then they freaking nailed it.
Okay, both cars are very, very well accepted, and the XC60, even at its last year of production, okay, it is still the second best-selling mid-size SUV in the world. So think about it, this in its last year of production, which is 8 years old, okay, it outsold the X3, which is a lot newer, okay, and the GLC as well. Granted, the GLC was new back then, but then Mercedes have their mid-size SUV earlier on. They have the GLK, you know, things like that. Anyway, let's come back, look at the design. New Volvo design language here, very, very sleek profile, and it's the perfect proportion of what a sporty SUV looks like. Okay, the tail is a bit slanted, but that's to add to the sporty appeal of new SUVs. I personally prefer a SUV that is more traditional, but then with some sporty accents added into the car, unlike those soupy tail GLC coupes or BMW X4 and the likes. Okay, the front is very familiar. As you can see, there are some alterations with the 60 series versus the 90 series. The 90 series doesn't have the Thor headlamp going all the way into the grille, whereas the 60 series has it. The front here, unlike the S90 where it has that concave grille, this one is more traditional in that sense. Well, I wouldn't say traditional, because the concave is actually a harkback to the P1800. I'm not sure why Volvo doesn't do the concave grille here as well, because that can be made into a signature of Volvo's. Anyway, it looks really good. It is the most handsome SUV out there. I mean, mid-size SUV is one of the most handsome. I mean, a lot of us love the GLC's design as well. The GLC is a looker as well, okay, but I think in terms of looking more manlier, okay, more edgier, you know, this guy does have the looks. Okay, now unlike the S90 or XC90, the XC60, even without the R design, it already comes with this really good looking fender, I don't know, fender or what. They are not grills, they are not real, okay, there's nothing there, there are no intakes there, but at least this design looks sportier against the 90 series that doesn't come with R design. It already looks somewhat R design. Okay, here the hood, you have these nice sculpture elements. All these are for design purpose. There's the plug-in hybrid charging point over there. And then as we come to the rear, you have this signature Volvo broad shoulder design, and that has always been a Volvo hallmark. Even the tail lamps as well. Okay, this one has some styling kits. Okay, I don't know how much they cost, probably 10,000, all round skirtings and all that. Let's have a look at the boot. So this is a mid-size SUV. This competes against the X3, the Mercedes GLC and the likes. Okay, the boot is not the largest in class, but is very, very usable. It's square, you have some straps here. Okay, this one doesn't have that fold up thing that you get in the V90. That's also because this is the CBU version, where you see the canister says those are for the air suspension. Okay, the CKD version doesn't come with air suspension, but I don't think the air suspension is something that makes a very, very big difference. It's not a deal breaker, okay, and everybody knows that air suspension requires more attention or maintenance to the regular suspension. Okay, one thing I really like about this, look at that, you are able to drop the seats with the touch of a button. Oh, did I off the car or because of what? Oh, the headrests are down. Is it because of that? Okay, yeah. I need to hold them longer. And once you press them, it is fully flat. There's no slanted surface up, so it's a full flat loading bay. Very good. Now this one, you don't get it in the CKD version. This is to lower and heighten the car. Okay, some nets here, very usable. All right, so let's pull this back. And this one, to move it up, all it does is that this is attention. I mean, Audi does that as well, and I was so disappointed that the new Cayenne doesn't have anything like this. It's just very rudimentary. Okay, for the Cayenne. Let's come inside here. Let's push this back up. It's very heavy. It's rather heavy. And the other day I tested the CX-9, which doesn't have the guidance bracket. It doesn't have the guidance bracket for the ISOFIX, and I have such a hard time trying to slot in my ISOFIX seats, and these are a godsend. But I think Mercedes' solution of the spring-loaded one, where you press this in, it sort of bounces in for you to slot your ISOFIX, and it bounces back out. That is a better solution. Okay, here's the rear armrest. A nice compartment, very well built. This is for a smartphone, a sort of rubberized surface, and then you have the cup holders. Lovely. As for rear leg room, it's very spacious. Okay, not as spacious or crazy big as those CR-V and the likes, but you can see this is almost a full-length bench. Okay, I am 5'11", so it's all right. And even after the panoramic roof, there's nothing brushing against my hair, so I don't feel claustrophobic. And the window sizes and all that is very nice. Okay, now the aircon vents are routed on the B pillar. Volvo is the only car maker that spends the extra money, extra engineering effort to route the aircon vents on the B pillar, which I think is where it should be, and not a ball cooler in the middle where most of the time you can't really blow air anywhere except around this vicinity. I can't even blow air to my face. So yeah, let's sit in the middle. I am 5'11". As you can see, the base of the rear bench until the starting of the rail for the seats is not wide enough for my feet. I am size 11. I don't know UK or US, but normally when I buy shoes in Malaysia, I just go in and say, give me the larger size. So yeah, I can't really fit my foot in between. So that is, for someone like me, it would not be that comfortable. I have to fight for leg room or foot space in the footwell. The seats are intentionally raised in front. You see this? Most cars, they only mount the rail directly onto the floor, but this one is raised up, and there is a slanted, this floor is somewhat slanted to make it comfortable for the rear passenger. This is the first time I see this solution, which I think is really, really good. I can slot my feet underneath comfortably as the rear passenger. Okay, it comes with a panoramic roof, and you see the speakers at the back there, because this car is serious about sound system. Bowers and Wilkins, look at that. And during the development phase of this car, of course, the first priority, see, they have different departments, different divisions in charge of different things. In the development of this car, right, Bowers and Wilkins rank number 3. So they only rank behind the powertrain engineer and the safety system engineers. Everything else, everybody else who are in charge of other stuffs have to move their ass away. Okay, so the car comes with a fantastic sound system, and then it has heads-up display, it has blind spot monitoring, it has the full pilot assist system. It is fully spec'd. Okay, frameless rear view mirrors, and then all these are standard in a premium car. Okay, and Volvo is the one who has this. You know, a lot of people have their touch cards, sensors and all that. They prepare a place for you to slot them so that the sensors can detect it. Okay, there's a very roomy glove box, finished in felt. So these seats are Volvo seats, comfortable, not as comfortable as the ones in the 90 series, but still better than all the other premium boys seats out there. Okay, here, reasonable, not super large, but reasonable. You get 2 USB ports, and then here, I think I've mentioned this again, they designed this intentionally so that you are able to place your smartphone here. You can hold your smartphone in place with this, and it's also a cup holder. You can put your keys, you can slot your key over here, you see a marker there, and then you can even put your phone like that. Be it an iPhone 6 Plus or a Note 8 or what, is just wide enough to put your phone so that you can see when you're using Waze or whatever, okay? And here on the passenger side, you have a little Swedish flag over here. Lovely. Now I don't see the buckle likewise in the 90 series car where they have a since 1959 logo there, which I think that is super cool. They should continue it. I don't know why it's not in this car. Does it cost that much? I don't think so. Okay, so this car is a fantastic proposition in my opinion, and it's the first time I review a car based on current competitors out there that I can conclude. Currently, there are no competitors for this car. I don't think there are in terms of handling, ride, comfort, performance, space, specifications, design, everything. This car beats everybody. So the only new one that is coming that we haven't seen in our market is the new Audi Q5, which I totally don't like the design at all. I think Audi ran out of ideas. And then the new X3, which looks rather good. And the GLC is there. The GLC was the default choice, and I think this guy actually blows the GLC away in terms of price, bang for buck, what you pay, what you get. Okay. What else? You have the Lexus NX, which is a rather good proposition. Some people are not so tech savvy. They just wanted a car that is reliable, spacious, and they just drive and drive and drive, hard wearing and all that. Yeah, you can go for the Lexus. All right. Yeah. As a premium European mid-size SUV, this guy currently is the benchmark. I will say it is the benchmark. It's an easy review currently. Even I think even if you work for Mercedes-Benz, if you're buying a mid-size SUV, if there are no special super discounts from the company, you look at this and then you'll be like, oh, in terms of price and what I get, it's hard to beat. This car is hard to beat. Of course, Volvo doesn't have the service network that Mercedes-Benz has, okay? But if you're anyone from market centers like Penang, Klang Valley and all that, you're fine buying this guy, provided you stay really outskirt and it's very far away for you to service your car and all that. Okay, so that's the review. And what else do I need to cover? Oh, this is the 60 series. So unlike the 90 series, the leather doesn't go all the way down to the door pocket. Okay, this is, I mean, there's a differentiation between 3 series and 5 series, or C class and E class, right? Or E class versus S class. So that is a given. Alright, but I don't think there's anything that I can really complain about this car. Solid product. Yep, that's it.